I was born in Shawnee, Oklahoma in 1981, so I'm a millennial. I think I'm a millennial. I was raised in Dallas, Texas. My freshman year at Baylor University, where I went my first year, and I pledged to the fraternity. I got a phone call from my mother. She said, "Cash, your father and I are getting a divorce, and I've got breast cancer." So that was a tough phone call I was going through, pledging at a fraternity at Baylor, having a great time, and I got that phone call. I have a little sister named Carrie. She was 15 at the time, so she was living with my mom. She said, "I'm going to Tampa," where her mother lived at the time. And so I dropped out of Baylor right then, came home, picked up a U-Haul, and drove my sister and my mom to Tampa. This was 1999. Ended up staying with her. I took her to Boffin Hospital every Wednesday for treatments, and then after and before treatment, I went to USF, and I ended up graduating from USF in 2004. I wanted to stay close to home. Through college to pay the bills, I was a bartender. I loved it. I loved the nightlife. I bartended in Ybor City. I bartended on Howard Avenue, all the fun places in Tampa. Had a great time. Probably too much fun. So I didn't get married early on like most of my friends. I was having probably too much fun. In the nightlife business, I met this guy. He came in every single Saturday night and just dropped a ton of money. This was in 2003. And I just asked him, "What do you do?" And he said, "I'm a mortgage broker." He's like, "What do you do during the day?" I said, "Well, I'm in school, but I'm almost going to graduate." He's like, "Then you got to come work with me." So I just went to his office that Monday morning, and he taught me the mortgage business. This was at the height of the market, and I did really, really, really well. Did that until 2008 when the market crashed. That was a tough time. Sheila knows. A lot of you might know about that. So I got out of the business. I was dating a girl at the time, and I moved to Palm Beach, and I lived there for 5 years. I opened up the only nightclub on Palm Beach called 251. So that was a lot of fun. She ended up leaving because of that, so I was single. So anyway, did that for 5 years, missed my family, and I came back to Tampa in 2012 and reconnected with my girlfriend in college, Taylor, who I'm now married to. And I said, "You know what, I want to get back into real estate," but I didn't want to do mortgages again. I got burnt pretty bad. So I got into residential real estate at the time, and I did that for 4 or 5 years. I think 5 years. Started with Keller Williams, loved it, but I wanted something different. And I brought my brother-in-law, who some of you might have known or met when he came here one time to supper. His name is Neil. We ended up partnering 2 years ago. He runs our residential team. I just do commercial. I'm building the commercial side. So some of the stuff I brought today, we don't have our new swag yet. The stuff we do, it's already gone. So that's my old group. It's the cashew group when I was a single agent. So enjoy the pen. I wanted to get rid of it. And then some of you, I ran out of pens, so I brought how I got into real estate, which is Mr. Downtown Tampa. It made me Rookie of the Year at Keller Williams. I found this niche to just be an apartment locator downtown. Downtown at the time, apartment complexes were going up like crazy, and they were paying huge fees to do it. So, like a 2-bedroom or a 3-bedroom was, anywhere between $2,000 and $4,000, and they paid me 1 month's commission, sometimes 2 months commission. And all I had to do was bring the person there one time, introduce them, the leasing agent did all the work, and I got a $2,000 to $4,000 check. I did 87 of those my first year of real estate, so I did really well, and maybe the Rookie of the Year. Joined my brother-in-law, and I said, "You know what, I just wanted to do something different." So about a year and a half ago, I got into commercial real estate, and I absolutely love it. Residential real estate is much more emotional. Commercial real estate is strictly business, and that's more my personality. My brother-in-law is the emotional guy, I'm the business guy, so it works out really, really well. And so I kind of want to just give you a couple of real-life examples of what I've gone through in commercial real estate, and kind of educate you a little bit on the difference between commercial real estate and residential real estate. It's super important to have a broker on your team, and that goes for both residential and commercial for a lot of reasons. The lingo and the contracts in commercial real estate are typically much more lengthy than residential, and if you don't have representation, just like you would as an attorney, you can really get in trouble. Not that they're doing it on purpose, but you just might not understand a lot of the fees that go into it. So in these leases for commercial, it's not like a 1-year lease in residential. Typically it's a 5-year lease, 10-year lease, 15-year lease, and sometimes the leases are 60 pages long. And if you sign those without representation, there's a lot of hidden fees in there that you might not know about. You might be committing to something that you can't get out of the whole contract. A lot of time there's something called a CAM fee, which is a common area maintenance fee that's thrown in there. Anyway, there's so much stuff. And just like as a residential realtor, it doesn't cost you any money on the buy side or on the tenant side to hire us, and that's the same with commercial. So there's no reason to go into that blindly. You know, I am absolutely free to you if you're looking to lease or buy a space for commercial, just like Sheila is on residential. And to get certified in commercial, it's a really long class called CCIM, and it teaches you all this lingo. I'm very versed in it, and I'm just here to protect you. And the landlord or the seller is the one that pays me. And so that's my service to you. So if you know anybody or looking to get into commercial real estate, just use me. It doesn't cost you a penny. You can pick my brain. I'm happy to help. Just last week, I had a dance studio that I leased in Odessa, and it just said CAM on there for $35 a square foot, and she didn't understand what that was, and so she called me. It was a referral, and it was gonna like almost double her lease payment, and she was gonna sign. She didn't know any better. Anyway, I was able to negotiate that. I was able to get her 6 months free rent, which they weren't gonna offer that to her, so she got 6 months free rent on a 5-year lease, and $10,000 in TI, which stands for tenant improvement. She's going in it was an Anytime Fitness that closed down, and she's putting in a dance studio, so she's got all her own stuff that she wants to put in there, and she was gonna go in and start paying rent, you know, day one, not have any money to redo it, and she was gonna pay a lot more than she thought. So that one phone call, she said, "Cash, you mind reading this lease for me?" I said, "Absolutely." Saved her a ton of money, got her a ton of money. She got in, she's super happy, and it didn't cost her a penny. So that's how kind of commercial and residential real estate agents work. On the sell side, you do have to pay us. On the buy side, you don't. But then I wrote down, just so we're clear, so that you're clear on the differences between commercial and residential. There's a few different types of commercial property. So one of them is office buildings. So if you think of think of office buildings, there's 4 types. There's Class A, which is high-end buildings with premium amenities and prime locations. You've got Class B, which are good quality buildings that may need minor updates. You've got Class C, which are older buildings with basic amenities that often need renovation. These types are high-rise, mid-rise, low-rise, medical, flex space, and co-working spaces. So that's the office sector. The second sector is retail properties. That includes strip centers, so think of small plazas with convenience stores, salons, and restaurants. Then you have neighborhood centers, which are larger than strip centers, anchored by typically a grocery store or a pharmacy like Walgreens or Publix. Power centers is what's called. They're called our large shopping areas with big box retailers like Target or Best Buy. Then you have malls, which you know what malls are. Out parcels, if you haven't heard of that term or seen it, but didn't know what that was. Out parcels are standalone buildings near larger shopping centers. So think banks or fast food chains. You see kind of parked in front of the shopping center. Those are called out parcels. Third one is industrial properties. You've got light industrial, heavy industrial, warehouse, and flex space. Flex space is super popular right now. That's a combination of office and industrial. So you'll see those little strip places, roll-up doors that have office. Oh, I'm already out. Okay. Industrial, and then multifamily and hospitality, and then there's some special purpose, which are gas stations, car washes, movie theaters, self-storage, religious buildings, schools, and daycares. So anytime you think of any of those things, or anybody that brings up something like that needs some assistance, on the buy side of free charge, on the sell side I'll take great care of them. Cash Ealey comes commercial.